Hey YouTube, it is Link Turnover today, and yes, these are the rankings for the Love Cup, which we just had, because it is the Love Cup and Master League. Check back this afternoon for a Dan rant video. But this meta is actually, it's annoying because there's 15 Pokemon, but it's easily grindable. If you understand what is the meta and what are the teams you're going to see, and know the matchups, you can put up some good elo here. And I've done that. I'm at like mid 2800s now. So I'm pushing with the team. I'm going to go over all, I have like 14 teams already out. So just go check out the Love Cup playlist. I'll link it in the description if you want to go see all the teams instead of me just putting up the pictures. I thought it'd be actually more valuable to discuss the Pokemon and their roles on the various teams, because there's really only like, there's 15 Pokemon, but there's only like 6 or 7 variations of teams that I've seen. So I thought it'd just be more valuable to actually go over like each individual Pokemon, the different teams that you may see them on, and their strengths and weaknesses. So I'll go Lickilicky and Miltank. I'll just combine together. They're very similar in the fact that they are normal typings with rollout and body slam, spam, and then earthquake and thunderbolt for your coverage. So they play a very similar role. Now I've seen them on variations of teams. You can do one of 3 things with them. I think you can just do like an ABB style team with both of them. Lickilicky, Miltank in the back, try and draw out a fighter, and then have something on the front that beats a fighter. I've seen ABA, so you have one in the front and one in the back. So that way, if you don't see a fighter on the lead, you can just play out the lead. If you do see a fighter, you just basically gonna have to play it out anyways. Because they are so safe, I've also seen them on just balanced team, both as safe swaps or just on leads. So as safe swaps, like you have just a balanced team, pick 2 Pokemon that cover each other's weakness. So for example, like Skeldurge, weak to water and ground, and I guess the best water ground answer here would be like Electrode. So just have like those 2 play on a balanced team, and then a safe swap of Lickilicky or Miltank. I've also seen like cover your weaknesses in the back with Lickilicky or Miltank on the front. I've also seen just like 3 just like super safe Pokemon together, like something like one of those 2, Lickilicky, Miltank, with like a Slowbro, and then pick your 3rd safe Pokemon, or even like a 3rd like okay Pokemon, Skeldurge or whatever. So basically that's how you play Lickilicky and Miltank. Slowbro I find is the next safest in this meta. It is very spammy with the brutal swings, only 5 to get, like 5 poison jabs to get to that. Surfer coverage. Not a ton of weaknesses because you got like a unique psychic poison typing, so that really offsets a lot of your weaknesses. There is only 1 ground in this meta, really, that I'll talk about in a second here, so you really only see like 1 ground you need to deal with. Got the poison jab for the poisons. You can kind of you do seem to lose most of the safe matchups against Lickilicky and Miltank, but otherwise you're pretty safe all around. Like you're in most situations, you'll just kind of, if you're gonna lose, you're gonna chip pretty well. If you're going to win either close, or if it's like a fair, you'll dominate. So Slowbro on teams I've used it like pretty much on every single one of my teams. I use it mostly as a safe swap. So just kind of build a balanced team with Slowbro as a safe swap. Not really like a ton of ABA or ABB style teams. But yeah, I just been mostly using it as a safe swap. Electrode, you know what? This is one that I've seen on like maybe like 3 or 4 teams. And I think the reason you're not seeing it on a ton of teams is, one, there is quite a lot of fire in this meta because there's only like 1 water in Alomomola and only like 1 ground in Krookodile. So with fires kind of running rampant, it's a little more scary to use because it's one of the only grass Pokemon, and you have like Slowbro with the poison jab, and there's just like not a lot of amazing matchups. Like there's no real like flyers. There's only like 1 water in a Alomomola, so your main strengths are gone. So I think it's kind of like overrated. Yes, it's got Swift and Wild Charge, which are very spammy, but again, I've seen it, but I have not seen it on a lot of teams. You'd probably mostly play it with like a balanced team, or have it on like the lead, where you have it on the lead and you like nuke wild charges and then get into like something bulky safe swap like Lickilicky. That's how I'd play it. Clefable I've mostly seen on the ABB like fairy lineups. So you safe swap Clefable because they see the fairy, and then you come in and you can like swift a bunch, because you can get to the Swifts very quickly, or you can even run, I've seen it run with Meteor Mash to catch like the Slowbros off guard. So basically as a safe swap in that situation, or you can just kind of use on the lead. It's okay. Like I said, it can kind of chip in a lot of neutral situations. There is Slowbro, which resists. And there's not a ton of like dragons. There's like Druddigon and Krookodile is a dark. There are some fighters. I'll go to the double fighters in a second here. They're not top meta, but so it has some play, but it's not a Pokemon that I've seen on a ton. Alomomola seems to be a Pokemon that is catching up here. A lot of people are using Alomomola. I think it's because there was a lot of fires for a while, so it's very good from that perspective. It is extremely bulky, so you're up there with like Lickilicky bulk type thing. And it's got the fast move damage of like Waterfall and Hydro Pump, and it can just take so much damage. So I've actually seen it used a lot as a safe swap because there, again, not many people are using Electrode, and there's really no grass and electric in this meta besides that. So it does feel pretty safe as a safe swap. So a lot of people are using it as a safe swap and just trying to absorb damage, or even like those Hydro Pumps, the Waterfall Hydro Pump, it takes a while to get to, but you're so bulky, you can get to them. So I've seen it as a safe swap. It's a nice answer for the fires, so I've seen it usually in the back. How to use that. Solrock was interesting. Solrock I used with good success. The problem was the fighters, actually, because I saw a lot of Medis and Scrafties, and those resist the Rock Slide. So I only had single move on it because I didn't think you'd get to a 20-turn Solar Beam. But you kind of actually needed the Solar Beam for those two. And then again, their Alomomolas are coming out a bit more. And even in neutral matchups, like Lickilicky has Earthquake. And so it was okay. I think I was like, oh, this is good. And then the more I played with it, the more I was like, this is maybe a bit overrated. So you got to cover like your water and ground weakness there. Druddigon, I've tried it a couple times and I've seen it on a few teams. I wasn't overly impressed with it. What are its strengths? Its strengths is that it has a lot of resistances, right? You resist grass, you resist electric, you resist fire. So a lot of the things that are in this meta you resist. You are pretty spammy with Dragon Claw and Night Slash. And Dragon Tail, again, there's a couple fairies, so that's just like you need to cover your fairy weakness in the back. So Slowbro plus a third, maybe a fire, double fire. And so there's a couple fairies, but there's like no steals. So the Dragon Tail being resisted on steals, there's a couple. There's Scizor and Wormadam, but there's not a ton of steals. So you have a little more freedom with Druddigon. Again, I would just use it more on a balanced team and cover your weakness with Slowbro in the back or fire in the back. And speaking about fires, we'll just kind of lump them all together because I think they kind of play similar-ish roles. Skeldurge, Talonflame, Turtonator, Maycargo. These are all the fire Pokemon as pretty nice answers to a lot of things. Obviously, there's the rollout users at the top, but even the rollout users you can chip a ton with Incinerate and Disarming Voice, or Incinerate, Overheat, or Dark, or Brave Bird, or whatever. So there is options for these fire Pokemon. Plus, there's the fairies and Clefable and Wigglytuff out there, so you have an answer for those. Sea King I've seen a couple times, but again, at this point, if I've seen way more Alomomolas. Ariados are starting to come out a bit. Because I think just the spamminess of this Pokemon, Trailblaze for Alomomola, Lunge for Darks, not that there's a ton of those, but I think just spammy enough, but again, watch your fire. Scrafty and Medi, I talked about these two. These are like the ABB style double fighters in the back. Most people, this says counter on Medi. Some people are using counter. Others are using Psycho Cuts because you kind of just safe swap a fighter in Medi and then try and draw out a fairy. And if you draw a fairy, having Psycho Cut and Psychic instead of Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch, having Psychic and Psycho Cut is an option for you to be able to spam charge moves that hit for neutral. So I've seen a lot of ABB style teams of Medi, safe swap, and then Scrafty in the back there. And then there's your Wiggly down here. Wormadam I'll talk about on a video later because that's one of the Pokemon I'm running with. And then this one was the Pokemon that got me to Expert, Krookodile. So it is a ground dark type Pokemon, and obviously the strength of the ground type Pokemon is that you resist the rollouts while also hitting as a ground super effective against the poisons. So it's definitely a core breaker. I only had one. I don't even know when I got it. You need under level 20. I only had one Pokemon that I had smartly saved. So yeah, it's definitely very, very strong from that perspective. I would not use Crunch Earthquake. I would use Crunch Brick Break, because you're very, very glassy. You're rarely ever gonna get to the Earthquake. Plus, I think Brick Break is good for like the normal typings and being able to lower defenses and baits and stuff like that. That's it. I saw a couple. I'm guessing a content creator put out Beware, because I started seeing Beware everywhere in the last like 24 hours. So I'm guessing a content creator put out Beware. It's interesting, you know. You have Shuttle Claw that hits super effective against Slowbro. That's psychic. You have a superpower for your normal typing. So it's I like the idea of it, but someone must have put it out because it just appeared out of nowhere. Those are the main ones. Again, I've used Shadow Scizor on a team, but once we get down here, you're not using these Pokemon. So again, a lot of BBB style teams with your double fairies, double your fighters, double normals. A lot of balanced teams with your safe swaps in Lickilicky and Slowbro and Alomomola. Yeah, double fire, stuff like that. So that is basically the main meta. If you want a list of teams that I've put out, link I'll put it, if I forget to put it in the description, it will be in the my playlist that you can go check out. But yes, it is also Master League. So we're going to talk about the leagues. Yeah, we'll talk about the leagues and other stuff about the game this afternoon. Just as like a Dan talk, because like I need a second one. I don't play Master League, so I can't even pretend like I know the meta anymore. So we'll talk about that and the effects on how that affects the game and the channel and everything. So that. Okay, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.